really welcome people into the class who wouldn't necessarily label themselves as dancers. It's a big barrier for people. They go, I've never danced in my life. So I think that's a really important thing to note here, that it's a very welcoming environment. All the movements are fully adaptable according to how your body feels that day. So the classes, like I said, they are seated with standing options. You don't have to stand if you don't wish. We structured the class with a slightly different energy flow as well, in comparison to perhaps a normal ballet class or perhaps a Parkinson's class. So the energy flow of this class, it fluctuates. It increases in energy, it drops in energy, increases in energy, it drops in energy. And the reason we put that in place was to really look at things like fatigue, and understanding that obviously with MS, for some people, managing fatigue is quite a major thing to consider when thinking about exercising and moving your body and what activities you want to do. So we structured the class very carefully around that. And that's not just a physical energy thing, it's also a cognitive energy, because obviously in a dance class, you might be learning some movements, you might be putting a few steps together. So in a different manner to an exercise class where maybe you just be doing 10 reaches above your head as a shoulder press, you might be putting together 2 or 3 different sequences of movement. So that does obviously require some cognitive thinking around that. We do structure and we scaffolding the teaching, so it's easy to follow. Everybody can follow, everybody can learn. There's lots of repetition in the class is very important to be able to actually build that movement into the body. But within the energy flow of the class, we will have a very nice, gentle start. So we start with what we call our settle. This is usually actually about 20 to 25 minutes. And we do some mindfulness, we do some breathing techniques, and then we gradually start to bring people into their bodies with some gentle self-led movement, so people can move in a way that feels comfortable for them. So by the end of that warm-up, people really feel in a calm state. If they've come to class and they're feeling a little bit tired from that travel, a bit hustled because they've had to do school run in the morning, etc., they're in a lovely calm state to then continue the class throughout. We will do some movements for the arms. We might do some movements for the lower body. We focus a lot on core stability and strength and conditioning as well, actually, because, as I said, when we developed this program, we work very closely with health professionals and in particular with physiotherapists. We felt it was very, very important that the content of the class, to some manner, was able to support perhaps what they might not be doing in a physio session. So from a safety perspective as well, obviously, how we want these bodies to be moving, what's important to be moving, what's not important to be moving, looking at addressing things like muscle imbalances, for example. So our physiotherapists that we work with at MS Revive, this is a charity based in Glasgow, and MS Society really helped to support us in developing this particular model, to the degree where a lot of our dancers come in and go, oh, I feel like I've just done a physio session. Effectively, it means that if our dancers are going to a physio session, it's supporting that. Or if they're not, it means they're getting those physical benefits, looking at things like balance and gait and fluidity of movement, stability, posture, upper body strength, opening out for the chest, the back, etc. But we're doing this all within a dance class. So it's a little bit like whizzing up your greens and not really realizing you're eating them. They're all in there, but by the end of the class, you've moved everything in a way that's right for your body. And again, just underline, make sure all of this is really safe and supportive for the dancers. They feel that they can actually achieve what has been invited for them to do. And again, that's an important thing to state. Everything is an invitation. We would never ask the dancers to do something that they feel they don't want to do that day for whatever reason. Hence why some of the movement is self-led. The class is very creative, and that's something that's come about from our original cohort of dancers. So our original cohort of dancers really helped to develop this model with us. Again, people with lived experience. We like this, we don't like this. This is working, this is not working. Tweak this, use this language, this is better for us. So our content of the class has really been developed with them in mind. And because of that, they were very good. They were a very creative bunch of people. They wanted the challenge to be creative, to reach into the creativity that perhaps maybe the other activities they do don't allow them to do. So we have a lovely creative element, which really allows people to look at self-expression, and that creativity is such an important aspect of, as well as the physicality as well. I think the key thing with this one is that it's very much done at your own pace. For a lot of the dancers, they're often frightened about coming to the class because maybe they haven't moved much before, they haven't exercised officially before. So the key thing is that you can do this at your own pace. If you find that you want to do 20 minutes of the class and spend the rest of the time sitting and listening to music and watching, that is also fine. So it's very much led by our dancers very specifically. I think it's understanding what the expectations of us are, but also our dancers. Like I said, it's self-led, and we're just there to help facilitate and to guide.